So, Wendy, you are really upset about not being included. But trust me when I tell you, you did yourself and your children a good service and a favor, in my opinion. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Real Housewives of it. Sorry, Grace say of Atlanta. Lord have mercy. Real Housewives of Potomac, season 7, episode 4. Now listen, Wendy, come on down front, girl. Have a seat. Listen to SpillitBoy TV, honey. I got some things I have to say. Wendy truly was in her feelings about not being invited to this whole family day by Robin. And in this episode, there were multiple times where we did disservices to the children in this episode, and it kind of bothered me. Listen, children are the best ear hustlers that you will ever run into. They hear everything other than, let me say that again. Children hear everything other than what they should be hearing. Family gossip, divorce details, sexual innuendos, all those things just go in their little heads. Now, multiplication and division, not so much. They hear everything but what it is you intend for them to hear. And in this episode, there were multiple occasions where the children were ear hustling. They were ear hustling, and I was like, I guess y'all don't see them, or y'all just forgot or you forgot they're there, or you just don't care. So, listen. Yes, Wendy was telling her husband that she was not invited to the fun day. Basically, her feelings were hurt. But that was, it is what it is. Why do you want to go somewhere where you have tension with people and you want to take your kids? Now you're putting because your kids aren't small. Your baby girl is small, but your boys, you got one boy, he's old enough to understand what's going on. He's old enough to understand and pick up very easily and quickly that you're in an area where somebody don't like you. And the wrong thing may be said. And now you got your kid in a position where they're, I don't want, I wouldn't want my child to be feeling a kind of way directly or indirectly. So listen, you're not getting along with the parents. It's best for you to just pull out and go about your business anyway. Seriously. I don't think you needed to be there. Y'all ain't in no good space. Go take your own kids to the park like you were. Ain't as you were. So I think you did your kids a service and yourself. Because at that little event, they were discussing all kind of things that didn't need to be discussed around children. And there were children present in all them scenes. So I'm just saying that. That's what I saw. It bothered me. I said it. Anyway, Wendy also was speaking to her husband about this whole business thing with Peter and this restaurant. Well, her husband is not on board. I said, okay, well, I'm settled on that. Her husband's not on board. Okay. And then did you all catch what he said? Wait a minute. Stop. He's your buddy. He's not my buddy. He's your friend. He's not my friend. I said, oh, okay, Wendy's husband. I was like, I wonder what that was about. I'm always listening for the conversation that's not being had. But he stopped her and was very frank with the fact that Peter is her friend. That is not his friend. And he didn't say he wanted no parts of it. He told her, my wall had been closed. I said, oh, okay. Moving on. Robin, then this was so crazy. Now, Robin, if you're going to do something, just stand in it. You threw the event. She wasn't invited. Done. Just that's it. That's it. And that's all. Robin decided, because her conscience that got to her, about it. She knew it was petty. You knew you'd have to answer to it again. You knew that it would come up again. So you had to do something to kind of throw some of the pettiness off of it. But no, when you being petty, just be petty. See, I would have did it. I would have did it. You don't like me and I don't like you. I don't want you around my kids. So no, and unfortunately, your kids are collateral damage. I would have told her, no, you can't come either. I wouldn't have invited her. Not the way they was arguing. I wouldn't have invited her either. But I'd have stood in it though. I'd have stood in it. But this whole thing of calling Candace to ask Candace to bring Wendy's kids, I said, Robin, you done lost your damn mind. What do I look like giving my 3 kids? 3. Giving my 3 kids to a broad that ain't got no kids to take to an event of a woman that ain't getting along with me. And then y'all who do this, all y'all do is talk. What are the chances that Candace would have had Wendy's kids there and Wendy would have never been the topic of any type of a conversation during that whole day? You got to be out of your mind. That just sounds so ridiculous to me. And of course, Wendy said no when she was presented with that. She said no. Candace already knew Wendy was going to say no. She said, I'll play along, but she knew Wendy was going to say no. Now, Karen, I don't know this whole thing. I'm like Ray, girl, I'd have strangled you. What you running around throwing all the chicken? Y'all know chicken is my favorite meat of all the meats. Okay. I love chicken. So yeah, I'd have choked you out. Running around the house throwing all the chicken away. What the hell's wrong with you? Look, you got an issue with chicken, then don't put none in your mouth. Period. Period. Listen, I have an allergy to fish. I don't eat it. I could cook fish, but I can't eat it. Me and fish are good as long as it don't go in my mouth. I make sure that the fish don't get my mouth. At no point for any reason do I ever allow fish to part my lips. Ever. Period. That's on me. But I ain't running around nobody's house throwing no fish away. I could. Can you imagine? I go over to my mother's house and get to throwing shrimp in the garbage, baby. The things that lady wouldn't say to me, honey. I said, Karen, crazy, just ridiculous. Then she's going on. She talked to Raven. So we got to get on that. No, we don't have to get on nothing. You can't eat chicken. Go out and run around this. I feel like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight. Better get out my face. Get out my face. Crazy butt. Anyway, moving on. Now Ashley's sitting down with her girlfriend Antia. I'm like, okay, so did y'all notice that Ashley really ain't filming with the girls much? She's finding all these little friends and stuff and filming with them and filming with her family members. I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's okay, but it's keeping you a little boring. Your storyline is a little because you're not really being with the girls. It's like you have your own little reality show going on, and it ain't all that interesting, I guess. But anyway, they were her girlfriend helped her with the plan. They got the plan going for them to go public about the separation. Yeah. Again, I don't know how interesting this storyline is, but I guess she's going to be going public with this here separation. Anyway, moving on, child. It's not interesting. Moving on. Mia and G. Here's where I start getting real irritated. Mia, why do you find it necessary to be speaking badly about your mom in front of your children? Now, first, we're here and you literally cram your mother down their throat. Nana this and Nana that, and my mom this and my mom that. You're cramming them down her throat and cramming her down their throat. You want them to have this relationship with her. But then, and this is not the first time she's done it, but this time it really stuck out for me and it kind of irritated me because they were all in this car and you just were speaking badly about your mother and her past and your relationship, things that your children at the ages that they are, because they do understand. They understand. Should not even know anything about at all. If there's a time to hide something from all that mess about her being a crackhead and you having a terrible life growing up with your mother and all of that and her addiction, that should be totally hidden from the grandchildren while you're in the midst of trying to cram granny down their throat. Period. They were ear hustling. Did you see how quiet those children got? They were ear hustling. They were listening and they were taking in every moment, every word being said. And then, G, you know, I like you, but you're too old not to know better. So I'm on your tail about that, Mr. G. You're too old to not know better than to be discussing those topics over those children. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I thought that was very irresponsible. Very. And then I caught here, Mia, you're really, really bothered at the fact that Jacqueline has actually made friends with Robin. Why? You wanted them? All your friends is just your friends. Your friends can't have friendships with other people. From what I saw, you don't seem to treat Jacqueline very good anyway. So I can't imagine because the first time that we seen you and Jacqueline together, you were dogging Jacqueline out, insinuating that you gave her clothes or like she wasn't shit on the slide. I caught it. I caught it. But I can't imagine Robin doing nothing like that. So I was like, but why? Why do you feel that way? But I caught it. Did you all catch it? Because I did. Leave it in the comments. Anyway, um, let's go on to the park for this fun day they were having. Mia throwing shade. Is it family day or is it fun day with mom and the kids day? She making digs at the fact that ain't no husbands there except for G. And then Jacqueline shows up with her ex. And then it was like this big shebang that Jacqueline showed up with her ex. Excuse me, isn't he their father? So why was that such a big deal? No matter what they're doing in the bedroom when the lights go off or what their living arrangement is, isn't that man those children's father? Isn't it a day about family fun? Aren't they a family unit? Even if they don't live in the house together, he's still their father, or and she's still their mother. So why are y'all even? I was like, see, y'all are doing too much. You're doing too much. Doing too much. You're talking stupid. Anyway, Karen did call Robin out about the whole Wendy thing, and she basically told Robin from the door, "Girl, have you lost your damn mind? That is ridiculous." And no, if I was Karen, I wouldn't have sent my. I mean, if I was Wendy, I wouldn't have sent my kids either. Me either, Karen. You were completely right about that. The grand dame has spoken. I said, shh. That was really crazy. But she did. She called Robin out and she wasn't taking no for an answer, baby. She got Robin right together. And what no gang up from Giselle or that. She got Robin right together. And Robin didn't fight too hard because you knew you was wrong. You knew you were wrong. Then uh Karen faked this whole respiratory infection situation when Cherie showed up. I don't listen, it hey, what's the big deal? For real. What's the big deal? I don't like Sharice. I don't want to be around Sharice. I think Karen is actually doing she's doing the grown up thing to a point, because when you don't want to be the part of something messy, you remove yourself. That's what adults do. They just remove themselves. You don't sit around and make other people miserable because you're miserable. That's not good. But an adult will remove themselves from the situation. And that's what Karen's doing. Now, this story, you ain't got to do all the storytelling. You ain't got to all of a sudden become sick. Listen, I don't do this picture. I'm out of here. That's the adult way to do it. You ain't got to make a scene. You ain't got to do any of that. Just roll out. And she don't like Sharice. She don't want nothing to do with Sharice. But see, I wouldn't let Sharice push me out of what I'm doing. This is my group. You're not part of the group. It just wouldn't happen. But maybe it ain't that way. Maybe it really ain't your group like that. And maybe Sharice does have more pull. And that's how you just excuse yourself. But they made a real big deal of it. They basically laughing at Karen. I said, that'll be interesting. I think we're probably going to have to revisit all these little things when we get to the reunion. Um, yeah, we have to. This is what we do here. We will definitely have to revisit those things. Candace came in. Candace just completely did not speak to Giselle. And then she's like, oh, Grace. Hi, Grace. This doesn't get other and didn't speak to Giselle. I was like, Candace, that was kind of, again, another time where we're pulling the children into, come on. Grace is what, 16? 16, Gary be 17? You know she felt the shade you threw at her mother. You threw it at her mother right in front of her face. It would have been just easier to just say, hey, Giselle, and then, went ahead and made over Grace. To decide not to speak to Giselle in the presence of Grace like that, that was real. That was ugly. That was ugly. Again, we're drawing these children into this grown up bull crap, this nonsensical bull crap. So yeah, I thought that was kind of wrong. That was kind of wrong. You threw shade at her mother, and remember, that's her daughter. That's her daughter, and she's a young woman. You don't play with my mother. I don't care what my mother did to you. Don't play with my mother. And I'm like, that's generally how a 16, 17-year-old girl kind of rolls. Will take and beat your ass. So you better watch. You better watch while you're doing all that little cute stuff. Just watch yourself. Anyway, last thing, we're in some violating of the kids again. Ashley has a whole conversation about Michael having a vasectomy and them separating out. That whole conversation was had right over top of her children. The oldest boy, he's a baby, but his ears, again, what her kids are bratty. They're whiny and they're bratty. Did you see how quiet her little boy got? Because he was ear hustling. He was taking it all in. It was all saying, that little boy. I said, all this conversation about his daddy and him getting you pregnant and y'all separated all that over top of this baby boy. Come on, people, do better. Do better. Anyway, then last thing, the information comes out. She feels like Michael's getting the crappy end of the stick, which, I mean, listen, Michael's a cheater. Michael's disrespectful. What made you think that once the information came out, Michael wasn't going to get the shitty end of the stick? Because Michael played the shitty end of the stick throughout the relationship. Michael's getting what Michael should get. It just is what it is. But what is this whole thing? Why is he avoiding you and not picking up your calls? You don't like it. You don't like the way it feels. And it makes you look silly. Interesting. Very, very interesting. That's it. I ain't got no more for this right now. I'll catch y'all on the next episode. But when it comes to those kids, do better. All of y'all, do better. Wendy, you dodged the bullet. You just don't know, but your feelings was hurt. Girl, your feelings shouldn't be hurt. It was what it was, and you dodged the bullet, honey. Your kids didn't get, you know, to ear hustle all that bull crap. Goodbye, you all. Talk to you later.